Well, I wanted to tell a little story because, I mean, I really haven't been doing much with my motovlogs. Just talking about a bunch of random crap. I got a ton of video. I can't believe how much video I got. I was looking on my big drive the other day, and it's like 100 gigs of video that I haven't even gone through. But you guys probably want a good story, so I got one for you. I grew up in a really Christian home. I mean, nobody was religious. Let me say that in air quotes, religious. And it's kind of hard to pull those two apart, Christian and religion. But I guess you got to be kind of fundamentalist. And there was a story that my mother told. When she was about 14, my great aunt Nola passed away. And Nola was in her 80s. I don't remember how old she was. And I do have this all in a diary. I probably should have went back and read that before I told the story, but I figured it'd be better just off the cuff. She was in the house there in San Juan, at my grandparents' house. She was living with them when she got old. She couldn't just barely take care of herself. And they were in the house there in San Juan. They lived in that house for, who knows, 50 years at least. She got real sickly. She got where she was getting close, and they called the doctor up, and the doctor came over there one day. And if I remember right, it was even on a Sunday in the morning. I think she had pneumonia. She was in the middle bedroom there in the house. I even slept in that bedroom when I was a kid. And everybody was gathered around, you know. It's what they did in them days. My mother was a teenager. She was probably 13 or 14, and she was sitting by the window. Nola had turned her head that way, looking towards the sun, I guess, looking at the window, but she is out of it. Her eyes were all glassed over, and that's an important point. Just remember that her eyes were glassed over, and she wasn't in her right mind, didn't know who anybody was. And the doctor was on the other side of the bed, on her left-hand side. And everybody was gathered in the room there. The doctor was there on the left side, and Grandma and Grandpa were there, and several other people. A lot of people saw this happen. But my mother was in the best spot because Nola had kind of turned her head to the side looking at the window, and she had been looking right over my mom's shoulder. I don't know where I want to go here. Keep going straight for a minute. And she started doing the death rattle, you know. I just get all tingly when I start telling this story because I heard it a whole bunch of times growing up. And she exhaled a breath, and she didn't inhale again. Hey. sat there for a minute. The doctor's checking her pulse and stuff. And all of a sudden, her eyes shot open. So my mother was sitting there right on the right-hand side. She saw her face, clear as day. And her eyes flew open. And my mom said her eyes were as clear as day. Just as clear. She's like she was all there. And Nola smiled up at something just above her shoulder there. And all of a sudden her arms reached up just above my mom towards the window. Her arms reached up, she smiled. Whole thing lasted just a couple of seconds, and her arms fell and she was gone. Now it says in the Bible, I'm not real religious, but I heard a lot of Bible growing up. If you're a Christian, guardian angel comes and takes you on home. And if that ain't proof enough right there, I don't know what is. No doubt that Nola was a Christian. And my mother, she passed away in 2006, but she took that with her. Of course, everybody there saw it. The doctor saw it. Of course, the doctor didn't. That's what Mom said. Nobody else saw her face as clear as she did. Her eyes were completely clear. They weren't all clouded over. And she knew, she was aware. She was aware of something. That story just gives me chills every time I think about it. I've heard it over again. I got a diary. My mother had cancer, and she knew she was going on, you know. So she wrote a big diary and gave it to all of us. We all each got a copy of it. It's one of the many stories.